Hey, we're talking about pop culture with Pop Culture Geekery. Up next on Geek Out SA.
Oh, man.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. And we have a guest. Joe Solis from Pop Culture Geekery. So thanks for coming. It's been a while.
I know.
He had to claw his way out of New Braunfels.
Yeah.
Get through the
I think I broke the sound barrier.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to make it on time, and then I was reading a book, and I came wandering in here, and I was like, Joe's not here yet.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
he's on his way.
No, we don't go down, because I don't want everybody to see my longhouse, so we keep it up
The
here.
bottom part of me is still Banker Joe. So top part, Nerd Joe.
Nerd Joe?
I always tell people Banker by day, Nerd by night. So.
This is what you wear, like, actually underneath your button-up shirt. And he's all Superman. As soon as he gets out of work, Pop Culture Geekery.
Today, that really was me. Just like, gotta get to San Antonio.
That's how Vince dresses, too.
Like what?
You have a Superman shirt underneath everything
Oh, yeah.
you're wearing, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Vince.
Every chance you get.
Every chance he gets, yeah.
Mhm.
Probably how we're going to have to bury him.
Yeah. So there's been a lot going on with your channel. So you have a channel called Pop Culture Geekery, and it's been around for about, what, 2 years?
No, it's actually going to be a year in March.
It's a year in March. Oh, so it's even...
It's a newbie.
It's a newbie.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
Yeah. But I think you've been talking about it for a long time, and it felt like it was a lot longer. So tell us a little bit more about Pop Culture Geekery.
So Pop Culture Geekery came after my wife and I shut down our retail shop that we had in New Braunfels. I unfortunately had to agree to close it down when I landed in the hospital in December of 2017 for overworking myself, and my body, gave up basically. And so, we both do our day jobs, and we were doing that on the side.
And they were selling tabletop games and comics, by the way. That's what their retail shop was, just in case people didn't know.
Yeah. And so we sold it, and I kept my promise to my wife to where I didn't pursue any projects for about a year. I take it
Just
easy,
1 year.
Lost weight, got healthier. So then almost exactly a year later was when I started thinking about it. I know that.
Can we adjust that mic? Because we can barely hear him on
Barely
there.
hear Joe.
Maybe.
It could be because it's, like, down in his shirt. It's buried in his shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then he didn't have the red part up.
Oh,
Follow directions,
There you go.
Joe. Come on.
I did when we started.
That's okay. Is that better?
So hopefully we can bump it up a little bit more.
So let us know if you can hear Joe.
There's nothing plugged in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe that's it right there.
This thing.
Just lean
Yeah.
towards me, Joe, and talk into my mic.
I know.
This
I
thing.
can hold- I can
Oh,
hold
this
it
thing. Yeah,
traditional
we
way,
plug that in.
No, it's not that. They don't plug.
That one would help.
The technical guys over there didn't do the technical thing.
Well, last week we were testing out a different mic that
I don't know.
Aaron brought.
I was sick last week.
You were sick because you weren't even here.
Nope. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go take a little nap right before the show, and then he wakes me up at 8:30, and he's like, well, you didn't seem like you felt very good, and I was like, oh, thank you, I love you so much. I felt horrible. So I was bad. So can we hear Joe now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear him.
So
Vince has a Kylo Ren on his desk that has his hand pointed at Stewart, so that might have been part of the technical difficulty.
could have been the technical difficulty.
Messing with him.
Keep Sith Lord close.
It's just us. No, we can't have a show
No.
without technical difficulties.
See?
It's like, it's just how we run.
Just like the
That's how we roll.
Rise of Skywalker.
So you tried to kill yourself, basically, with geek culture.
Yeah.
And
doing too much work.
tried to step away from it, but couldn't step away from it completely, basically.
Yeah, because, pop culture has always been a part of my life in one form or another. I've been going to conventions since 2003, both as an attendee and then later as a panelist and then eventually as a vendor.
Mm-hmm.
it was just one of those things that I did my own research, my own personal goal. I mean, obviously I'd seen you guys before because you had my wife on a couple of times, and it was funny because y'all were simultaneously inspirational and also it was intimidating when I saw the setup because I was like, probably not going to do that. So my personal goal was, I did some research and I'm like, okay, can I legitimately do this with like the modern like phone technology and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I discovered a channel called Think Media, and they're actually based in Vegas. And the guy who started it is named Sean Cannell, and his whole thing is like teaching people how to be on YouTube, whether it be a setup like y'all's or on your phone. And so when I started learning how to do it on my phone, I was like, okay, this I can handle, because the whole point was I was like, I'm not gonna overdo it again, and wasn't, so that was how it started. And
well, for your show, do you cut the videos or you just do it all live and then?
Yeah, so we film them, and then I have an app on my phone, which was suggested by Think Media, and then everything I do is on my phone. The editing is all done there, the effects, the music.
What's the app that you use?
It's called KineMaster.
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 Yeah. There's a lot of people in our YouTube group that actually use KineMaster for their videos.
It's
in fact, Vato Rangers is all done through KineMaster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super user friendly, and if it wasn't for that app, I probably wouldn't be doing this, because, that's why I envy you guys, because I would never put this scale together. But that's
we
me
just
personally,
pieced it together over the years.
He's a tech guy too.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't. So I have another channel, like a teacher channel, because Joe's wife is a teacher too, so we have that in common as well. We kind of have all these commonalities. But what I do is use my phone, record it, and then bring it back to him, and I'm like, here, make it good.
Make it pretty.
So I should probably try KineMaster though, because a lot of my students, I encourage them to do these projects and things like that. And YouTube, I think, is, or something like YouTube, depending on how terrible YouTube like tanks. But something like YouTube or YouTube, I think, is the forefront and the future of where these kids are going and where jobs could be held. So to have those skills, I think, is a good place to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I wish I would have known how to put this together when we still had the shop. It would have been just another little extra piece, weekly comic reviews or just anything.
It would have just killed you faster.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, that was basically the impetus for it, and it was just like, it got more and more fun. Thankfully, I got a lot of friends into it. We try to do skits at the beginning of some of them, especially the movie reviews, but that all comes down to time and availability for everybody. So some of our videos have skits, some of them don't. And then just basically continued on with what we just our normal lives were, which is, conventions are part of our life, going to geeky events is part of our life, so a lot of that stuff just gets translated to the channel now.
Yeah. Well, that was the next thing I was going to ask you is, how do you choose what it is that you want to talk about on your channel?
So I picked pop culture because it was more all-encompassing. At first it was easier to do movie reviews because, for the most part, depending on what time of the year it is, movies come out one week after the other, so they're easy to talk about. But then if a convention's coming up or something that I think is going to be fun to cover, then I'll just kind of slip that into the schedule, because I try to do at least one video a week. I don't have a set day like y'all, unfortunately. I tried to establish that early on, but it just, life and schedule just will not allow it. So usually, I have a window. So it's basically between Friday and Monday, you'll probably get a video. But yeah, other than that, and there has been plenty of stuff that's fallen by the wayside. If I already had a video out or something and there's a movie that came out, or I put a personal rule in place, there's so much negativity already out there that if I don't like a movie, I'm just not going to review it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of actually doing a review and talking about what I didn't like, I just won't do it, because I just figure there's enough of that out there, and I want our channel to be more positive. So
I would completely agree with that. I mean, sometimes I say negative things because, movies make me cry because I don't like the book. But, and then people send me videos to remind me.
And Chewbacca Mom.
I'm going to make a, the Leave Britney Alone? I'm going to be Leave Colleen alone! No more Ready Player One!
No Ready Player One! No Chewbacca Mom!
No Chewbacca Mom! So, typically, most YouTubers last about 90 days.
Wow.
Because they don't see a rapid growth. And what a lot of people don't understand is that it takes time to get viewers and get subscribers. It takes a really long time to be able to do that. So what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you stay fresh and don't get discouraged?
Well, you're going to hear me talk about Think Media a lot in this because the Sean Cannell, who runs that, is very inspirational. He's done it for 10 years. So he will tell you things like, YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. He prepares you for that ahead of time. He talks about, having a plan about what your goals are, stopping and reevaluating. Kind of like I mentioned a while ago, that when I found that, maybe there was 2 or 3 things that came out that week that I really would like to do an episode about, I'm like, no, I'm just going to pick the one that I want to do and just let the other 2 go, because that was part of that. And even Sarah's my check and balance. She's like, you're starting to, talk like the way you did at Child's Play. You want to do this, you want to do so much. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So, I think even one week there back in the fall, I just took a complete week off where I didn't put out an episode. And
we've had to do that before too. Sometimes you just have to step back from it for a minute and just say, okay, I need a break.
And thankfully, got enough of a social media presence where I just jumped on and I literally put, sorry guys, this week dealing with some personal stuff, I'll do another video next week. And most people are like, hey, take your time, no worries.
Yeah.
But at least you communicate. Because that's another thing too that I learned is like, just communicate. I mean, we got all kinds of communication. Why not use it?
Yeah.
And thankfully for us, to your point about building, I think we got a nice head start because a lot of the people who followed us on Child's Play did come over and start watching and commenting and following the show. And, the Child's Play sites are still active because for us, Child's Play is a creative studio now. So it's like, it's what produces the show. It's where Sarah eventually will work on her own games and stuff. So that's the way that I kind of lay it out, so that way you don't get burnt out.
Yeah.
So your channel is Pop Culture Geekery, right? And you said you wanted to over encompass. So what to you is pop culture?
So the thing, I mean, I found that I couldn't cover every single thing, but I like, for example, video games I just had to let go. I was like, I'm not even going to touch those, because that's almost like its own subculture on YouTube.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a Let's Player or something like that. I'm like, definitely cannot do that on my phone. So, and plus video games, when you talk about pop culture, unfortunately they're the thing in my adult life that I kind of had to let go the most of out of everything. But so the ones I settled on, actually have them broken down in playlists on the channel. But movies is my main thing. Of course, I still love comics, animation, tabletop, but tabletop is more like Sarah's realm. But she's come on and done some tabletop videos for us, things like that. So that's kind of the way I've sectioned it off. But that for me is what pop culture is. It's more of a, I don't know, melting pot, or I don't know what term you want to use, but it's all these different medias that are kind of feeding the same need or same want. So
we would agree with that. Yeah.
So what kind of changes have you seen within your channel from day one to now?
Well, I would hope the videos look better now than they did at the beginning. Because, especially Kind Master, I guess I'll say it like that now. I've heard people say it both ways. So, but anyway, it's got so much. It's such a great little app. It only costs like $40 a year. So it still has so much that I haven't even played. And sometimes, like if I'm bored or we're sitting watching TV and it's not a show I have to necessarily pay attention to, I'll still just play with it and find some new effects to play with or something, and it might spark an idea for a skit or something. But yeah, that's the main thing, is just hopefully that the videos look better. Hopefully there's better editing. you know, we had this logo made within the first month, so you know, my generic logo for the first few episodes didn't last very long. That's good. Yeah, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and there's something. Sometimes you really need to step back, because a lot of times as we come in, we want to do everything all ourselves and make it happen. That's how I was.
Yeah.
That's how I was, because I tried to design the logo myself, and I was like, no. A studio ended up creating our logo,
Yep.
which we've been using forever, and it's been really great. But you just have to like loosen the reins and say, well, I can't do this. I need to source this out to somebody else.
See, that's why I let Vince cut the video, because I can't. So I just like source it out to Vince.
And see, that is the key right there, and that was the one thing that I was guilty of at Child's Play, is that not learning how to delegate. You know, and, that's one thing here. You know, that thankfully, you know, the app itself takes care of a lot of things. Like I said, it does the effects, it does the music, which is not, you don't have to worry about copyright and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we do have, you know, a friend of ours who's a graphic designer who did, you know, this logo. She did a lot of stuff for Child's Play. So, you know, definitely utilize that resource. And even in just trying to decide, you know, what and how to grow the channel, you know, I was like, okay, if I'm going to, you know, I looked at my playlist and I'm like, okay, well, obviously movies have the most here, you know, almost a year later. Comics, which are one of my biggest loves, were getting left by the wayside. So, you know, I recently made a deal with a local creator. His name's Chuck Pino, and he was already doing his own type of indie reviews. So I asked him if he would come do comic reviews for us, and so he just started with us doing that. So now that's going to be kind of his section of the site. But at least now through him, I'm getting the comic part covered, which was what I felt was being neglected. But rather than, you know, put more on myself, I was like, okay, here's my chance to test this delegation thing out, you know. And it was a good launch so far. So we'll see how it goes in March. I think it's still going to be a good thing.
So how many people do you have associated with Pop Culture Geekery right now?
Well, there's a lot more that are unofficial, but if you look at some of the people who do the skits, we have a lot of reoccurring actors who are friends, basically, that, you know, thankfully we have a great group of friends who are all very creative and, you know, love to just have fun, and so they, you know, they have no problem coming on and, you know, just being goofy and, you know, having fun with the skit. Or, you know, sometimes if it's somebody that I know maybe likes a certain movie or genre or something, then I'll ask them, hey, you know, well, this came out, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I determine the different people who've done the reviews, because, you know, when I started this, you know, Sarah was very honest with me, and she's like, look, you know, I probably won't do every episode with you, you know, and I understand, because she's a teacher, she comes home, you know, exhausted every night, and so I'm thankful for the ones that she has been able to be a part of. But, you know, she let me know early on that it was basically going to be me or whoever else was available. And so thankfully, again, you know, I've got a great group of friends who have been available there. And so I think it's also made the channel pretty diverse, too, you know.
Yeah.
You get to see different faces, get to hear different opinions, and so.
So you base your... So you live in New Braunfels. So do you cover a lot of things that happen that are part of Pop Culture Geekery in New Braunfels?
Starting to, because that's the thing, like when we first got to New Braunfels, you know, it feels like such an island, you know, because it's so far. I mean, as we saw today, how long it took me to get here. You know, but that's the way it felt when we first moved here, because we came from the Dallas area, where, I mean, you know, that kind of culture for the 10 years I lived up there previous was just, you know, take your pick. You know, there's a great convention circuit up there, plenty of shops, plenty of groups. I mean, you know, and then you come down to New Braunfels, and at the time there was no shops. You know, Hastings was still there, but it was kind of on its last legs. You know, we do have the D-Pad video game store, that's a great local place, you know, that covers the video game need. And then, but that was one of the reasons we wanted to try to open something, you know. And since then, now there's a couple other shops since we've closed. So now it's a good thing that culture is kind of growing there. And, you know, we just had our first comic convention last year, which was Hill Country Comic Con,
Mhm.
coming back for its second year, and I actually have gotten involved with them more this year. So I look forward to that because I'll be more involved now than I was last. Last year I was just showing up and covering it basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'll actually be a part of it. So
Very cool.
So nice to see, and that was what we wanted. We were hoping that we would help in some way with that, but thankfully other people have come in and kind of helped it grow. Meaning the pop culture, or the culture in general, the nerd culture there in that area, grow a little bit.
I just stopped helping out with like conventions altogether. I'm just
We've been
I'm-
doing it
we're,
for a
we're
long
doing it for a
time.
long time. I'm just like, we're done.
Yeah.
So of all the segments that you do, which ones do you like the best?
I mean, anytime I can get a skit done, they're just a lot of fun. Like, I mean, we did one for Star Wars, and that one ended up being almost like a little mini movie, And I had to get real creative with that because, I had 4 different people involved in it, but none of them could be at the same place at the same time.
Right.
So that
That sounds typical.
So that I had to be creative in the little skit itself. Didn't require for all of them to be in the same spot. So I think it kind of made the skit more unique because when you watch it, you don't even think about that they're all in 4 different places. So so yeah, anytime we get to actually do a skit, this year I haven't been able to officially achieve one yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully, we go forward. I'm gonna get a Black Widow one, though. I promise.
Well, yeah, that was our kind of like New Year's resolution or whatever, was to do more shorts, and we've done 2, maybe 3.
Well, you broke his toy. Well, he's not gonna.
I did.
He's not gonna want to do anymore.
Some of my students keep asking
Snap.
me, "Did you get a new Joker?" No. I still need to glue the old one. You see why he has Superman over there on his desk, and
Yeah,
he's not
far
gonna let me
away
play
from
with
the,
him.
Oh, like we were talking about doing other things. We went to a shop and then we ended up finding one of the Primal Age DC characters at
Dirt cheap.
Dirt Cheap.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Lex
Yeah, it was
Luthor.
Lex. It wasn't the Joker.
But we picked them up for like what,
He was $1.
$1?
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's what I paid for them on Amazon because they know they're junk.
Yeah. They're not junk. They're really fun to play with. Okay, well they're junk because they like break apart really easily, but
Or just a Joker.
Yeah, actually, the Joker's reviews are awful on
Yeah.
Amazon. Looked at it in the package, broke.
Well, I broke Wonder Woman too.
You did, like off camera?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to play with the toys anymore.
Well, I can't defend you on that one now. I mean,
No.
you're just racking up.
The carnage just
yeah.
falls.
She didn't destroy the Bazaar though, which
Which I tried really hard.
you tried really hard to do. So
yeah, but
apparently
I
he
would
was
do
a
that,
very
Joe.
well
I
made.
like doing that kind of, like, I don't mind doing this because we've been doing it for such a long time. I was with Sarah at the beginning and I was like, no. But
You
then,
didn't think I was gonna last
well, I didn't
very
think it was
long.
going to last past the 90 days. And then
Yeah, that was Vince.
You-
right
you
there,
made
yeah.
Superman
Yeah.
angry.
All over.
You know.
And then people tend to, because it's free and they've got to put in their time, and so they tend to kind of bail on you and bail on you and bail on you after the years go by. So, then he's looking at me and he's like, I'm like, oh man, fine.
But since it's happened, it's been the best it's ever been.
Oh, it was fine last week when I was sick. Thanks a lot, people, for watching the episode and making me feel useless. No, I'm glad that it's growing. Where would you like to go with it? Like, are you just kind of doing it for fun because you enjoy it and you hope people will see it and pick up something about the geek culture, or what are you hoping to do?
Well, honestly, at this point in my life, I tried obviously to make plans about things, but then I'm like, I look back 20 years ago, I'm like, well, what would I would have never seen myself owning a shop or something, things like that, having a YouTube show not even over a year ago, So I kind of just learned to just, take it in strides. Yes, of course I have certain goals, but it is more leaning towards the fun aspect. I mean, there is still kind of a business side of it. We do have local businesses that do, pay for advertising on the actual show. which was something I decided on my own because, you know, there's a really good what I learned from having our shop. There's a really good small business community in New Braunfels, and so I wanted to kind of help them out, you know, because we would do it even when we had the shop. You know, we hit them up for like raffles or things like that. We're like, okay, you know, we'll help advertise your business if you just donate like a little gift card or something for this raffle we're doing. And they were always, I mean, always very, you know, accommodating. And so now with Pop Culture Geekery, you know, when you watch, you know, the majority of the episodes, you know, sometimes I have to put one out when I don't have an ad ready, but they're part of the show, you know, and that's, you know, part of what helps them because they're right front and center as soon as the show starts. So.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
We need some ads, honey.
Not right now.
No, we're good. We don't want to be held down by the man. No.
Well, that's why you need to be the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to YouTube. Yeah. You don't want YouTube get a hands on it. So.
Yeah. I don't know. We just like it just for funsies. I've gotten to where I like when we're out. So have you shot on location like at conventions or anything like that yet?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you like those? Do you feel like the more you do it, the more you start to notice, oh hey, if I got like some of that would look really good in the episode or whatever. Mm-hmm. You kind of look at it from that lens sometimes, right?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of it too, you know, is just done traditional, I guess would be considered like traditional movie style. It's like I may shoot a lot of different things, but then when I get home and start editing, it's like, well, I didn't really need that after all, you know, or I thought that looked better than it really did.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that in that respect, it's more traditional filming. You know.
We go along the same lines where we're both shooting a lot of stuff, and Colleen is looking. Well, you did put such and such in? No, I didn't need it, because you're going through and you're trying to make the video like the right amount of time. It's like you can't make it too long, you can't make it too short.
Mm-hmm. You can make it super short now if you want to put it on TikTok.
Well, yeah, if you want to do TikTok.
What? I'm on TikTok.
Oh, you are? Wow.
I'm on TikTok at Clearly Colleen. Follow me. I'm funny.
I hate TikTok.
Love TikTok. You hate it because you have a teenage child at your house.
That's probably why I hate it.
Yeah, that's probably why you hate it.
I mean, I'm around the teenage children all the time. They can't talk to me without doing the dance moves now.
Okay. It's like, what are you doing? I'm doing a TikTok. Why? Because it's a TikTok challenge for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then it's skull breaking challenge. No, you're not doing that.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
It's okay. I kind of fought Instagram for a while when we had Child's Play, and then one of my friends was like, "You've got to do it, you know, if you want the younger crowd." And I'm like, "That's fine." And now I love it. I even kind of experimented with IGTV just for like one. You know, I was like, I'm gonna try it and put it out there, but that's almost kind of like doing a whole other show because it's a different format and all that stuff. So I was like, we won't do that for now. So.
But that's what a lot of people don't understand is to get a successful channel or a successful brand, you have to put yourself out there, and sometimes you need to put your stuff out there on stuff that's just new and out there, because you never know what's gonna, you're gonna share out and it just blows up. So that's why we're on TikTok. That's why we're on Twitter and Instagram.
We're on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube. We were on Twitch for a while, but we have to tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, that one I haven't played around with yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and there's always going to be challenges. I mean, literally, no joke. It's not there anymore. I didn't delete it. I don't know what happened to it, but no joke. My very first comment was, man, you're really monotone. And I'm like, okay, well, thanks for telling me something I didn't already know. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you want an act, I can act if you want. If you want to put on a show, I can do that. And it's funny because, I seriously did not delete that comment. I can't find it now.
Oh, really?
But
once you have trolls,
you know what? You need to be monotone. You need to do those toy reviews in the monotone voice and big bucks.
Bueller.
Yeah, that's what one of my friends. They're like he made a career out of it. You can too.
You do it too.
So, but yeah, I just I just worked past it. And I was like, oh well, yeah, like you say, there's trolls. I mean, there's times you get the dislike on the video, and it's like, all right, at least tell me why you put the dislike. You know, there's a comment section. At least go tell me why.
Yeah.
You know?
We used to have one every week.
Every week.
Every week, like as soon as the video was up, it was a dislike, and we were like, "What did we offend somebody?" Like
we
usually
know who it is.
we do.
Probably.
No, it was before that person.
He was probably hating then too.
It's me.
Oh,
I was
it's
gonna
Stuart,
say it's
yeah.
probably Stuart.
It's an interaction though,
It's
so
an
I don't
interaction,
care.
So we don't care.
Somehow Stuart does it while y'all are still filming.
he's like on his phone. That is terrible. Interaction with his 40 phones and his different accounts that he's logged into.
No, if I did that, I'd do that and win the lightsaber and then scratch my back with it. Just to annoy you guys.
No.
And the winner is... Oh wait, it's my account!
Yay! Scratchy.
Which reminds me, I finished my lightsaber and I'm
Way
so
to go,
happy.
Stuart. We couldn't
You
keep
did.
the lightsaber out of the conversation for 1 minute.
No.
Well,
So
I'm sorry,
awesome.
I was here until 1 o'clock in the morning, so I've been soldering all Vincent solder, so...
Which then Vincent unsoldered and
Yeah, I
resoldered
know.
because
Yeah,
he put
and I redid it.
different-
Can't hate a man.
I made it
for
slide in better.
lightsaber.
Did you see that?
What?
No,
Okay, that's the ghost.
the
Oh,
ghost.
great.
It was the ghost. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, do you have these lightsaber problems as well?
No, I've never been able to. Well, I know you made yours from scratch, right? Yeah, but all the professional ones, I can't drop the 200 plus bucks or whatever it is. I have all the classic ones. I even have a 1983 Return of the Jedi one that
Oh,
you know that
nice.
you swing in the air are supposed to make the sound.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, but that
Love it.
yeah. So
It's the one with like the air holes at the tip.
yeah, so when you swing
Yeah.
it through the air, it makes a whistle or a groan
Yeah,
sound.
some
no.
kind of.
Yeah, the Star Wars skit we did, I borrowed friends' lightsabers for that one, so those are actually the nice ones in the skit. So.
Would you say that Star Wars is probably like your #1 pop culture fandom, or where are you at with that?
Probably because
Yeah.
it's probably the oldest thing that I remember as a kid. You know, because I was born in '78, so it had already been out for a year, and then you know I'm sure I didn't see any of them in the theaters. I would just would have been too young.
Yeah.
So it would have been VHS, and yeah, it's just. I mean, I was Luke Skywalker. I was from that little town. You know, there was nothing there. Always wanting to get out. You
You're
know.
like, get me out of here.
Yeah, and I came out to this, you know, horrible empire of a world, and I've blown up a few Death Stars, but I've also had my hand chopped off a few times too. So.
I hate when that happens.
I think
Yeah.
we can all relate.
Mhm.
Oh, I was always Darth Vader.
Hmm.
Vince is a Luke too.
So if how do we check out your stuff?
So from the very beginning, I tried to make it as easy as possible. So we do own the website popculturegeekery.com. So if you type that in, it takes you straight to the YouTube channel.
Very
Oh,
cool.
perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. And same, your Instagram handle is the same, pop culture, or is it Child's
Yeah.
Play?
No, everything is there.
Oh,
Yeah.
everything's Pop culture geekery.
Yeah, you'll find it. It's listed under all the videos too. You can just click to each one. We just added Twitter this week too, so because that one I fought for a long time too.
Joe's like, don't make me do it. I don't want to. It's too late, Joe. It's done.
It is.
It's a thing with people our age. We don't get Twitter.
No, we don't, because we don't get the clapping back, and then it's like, what are you talking about? Oh. Want to have an argument, just no.
I mean, I thought, with a hashtag, I thought that was like for somebody's phone number. I was like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I
So
don't
very
get it.
cool. So Joe, thanks for coming out.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. We had a lot of fun, and glad you made it here
man. In one piece.
in one piece. So, and thanks for checking us out. If you haven't subscribed to us, click on that subscribe button and click on the alerts button so you find out when we go live or we put a new video out. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen. That's Joe. Thanks, Stuart.
Geek Out, SA.